What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's another episode of the Raw Unscripted Show with yours truly, Christopher Rausch, your No Excuses coach. And I'm thankful for you guys joining us here, whether you're joining us on the live video cast or, of course, on the audio podcast. Thank you guys so much for the feedback and the opportunity to serve you every single week. I appreciate you guys sending me emails, info@noexcusescoach.com, info@noexcusescoach.com. The reason why I share that with you guys is in 2025, my goal is to get further reach on my podcast. And right now, if you are studying anything about related to business, you know attention is the commodity right now. Getting people's attention with streaming and binging and TikTok and all the different things that are going on out there, podcast, television, movies, music, everything is vying for our attention. And so I appreciate you guys when you send me an email, info@noexcusescoach.com, and you let me know what it is that you want me to talk about. This time in 2025, I've dedicated myself to doing more solo shows. Again, tonight is just a solo show. It's just me and you and I, whatever you want to talk about. Got Jacqueline Rose in the house. We got Robert Broker in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate you guys so much. This is an opportunity for us every single week to be honest with ourselves and to be vulnerable with ourselves. And so I appreciate you guys letting me know what it is that you want to see more of. And somebody made a comment on a couple of messages and a couple of emails, and they had said, Chris, I just always love how you're always so positive and you're always so energetic and you're always have so many answers. And I see you on your podcast and I see you on your TikTok videos and I see you on your YouTube videos and I see you on Facebook and I see you on Instagram and LinkedIn and everything. And you're just always so fucking powerful. And it started occurring to me, you guys may not know the inner workings of my mind. Of course, here on the show, I share it. I'm not one to lie or to hide or to run away from vulnerability whatsoever at any particular moment in time. So I do share. And I share quite a bit. But I thought in seeing those comments and talking to somebody just the other day, who they also said, I'm thinking about, they said, what's your show going to be about on Tuesday? And I said, well, I'm thinking about doing this vulnerability show where I'm talking about my feelings and emotions and my fears, kind of giving people a behind the mic view on what Christopher goes through. Because so oftentimes I'm giving you guys advice and I'm talking about my experiences, but how often am I really sharing what's going on in my mind? Because we are more the same than you are different. And I believe there's a connection that happens when you find commonality with your brothers and sisters. You and I have never met. I know a lot of you guys here on social media, Jacqueline and Robert and Robert's saying hi to Jacqueline and whoever else joins us. We got some people watching. Some people don't always comment, and some people watch the next day and, and repeat and everything else. So that's what it is about tonight. I've taken some notes because I'm really intentional on delivering the best value for your time when you tune into these podcasts and you tune into the videos. And I'm being very specific and intentional on what it is that you can walk away from. So tonight's walk away is to realize that we are more the same than we are different. That when you think you know people who have it together and they're this and they're that, or they've achieved wealth, or they've achieved money, or they've got the beautiful girlfriend or the beautiful husband or whatever it might be, chances are you are misunderstanding that person. And I will tell you this. This is just a candid conversation with us with tonight. I will tell you this. I have met very successful people. I met politicians. I've met actors and actresses. I've met rock stars. I've met leaders in business. I've met motivational speakers. I met authors. I met a lot of successful people in my life, and I'm very blessed to say that. And there's probably a few. The few commonalities. One of the commonalities of the people that I've met who are successful, and Jim Carrey also says this. He goes, most of the people, paraphrasing, say this: I wish people could have money and fame and good looks to know that that's not the answer. To know that's not the answer. And I'm 56, and I'm finding in my journey that same thing. I'm finding that the fame and the fortune and the recognition and the applause, the feedback, the likes, the shares, all of that stuff is awesome. Making money is awesome. Buying things is awesome. Traveling to Italy in 2022, awesome. Camping trips, awesome. I'm about to buy a new truck. I'm super excited about that. I've had my same truck since 2012. It's got 170,000 miles on it. I tow a lot and I want to go places, so I'm going to buy a new truck. All that said, and I met Les Brown, the famous motivational speaker. Again, I met a lot of people. And what I'm finding now is that all of that doesn't fill in the void of what is missing inside, right? So oftentimes we think we're going to be happy when we have the good looks, we have the job, we have the money, we have whatever it might be, a bigger television, a faster car, a prettier wife, whatever it is. We think we'll be happy when. And I have really thought about this episode and thought about what I want to share. And I feel, and I know that there are seasons to life, right? You have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And I think that that's kind of like the 4 seasons we go through in our life. And now at 56, I feel like I'm in the fall. You know, I've gone through my 20s and my 30s where we're trying to figure things out, and we're thinking that, you know, more is better, and, you know, we're just trying to get on with our life, you know, finding a mate and buying a house and having a stable place to live and having a career and all those different things. But in your 40s, you start connecting with yourself, I think. And I think that's the purpose of this journey is to find ways to connect better to yourself. And so I've been finding since turning 55, because this is a vulnerable show and I'm sharing what's inside my brain, that I'm a little worried and I'm a little scared because time goes by so fast. And this might be a downer episode, but it's gonna pick back up towards the end. And there's a lot of valuable lessons in here that I want you to connect with me, right? Because these are the things that I'm experiencing in my life. And as much as I can inspire you about goals and all that other stuff, it's good to share. It's good for you to know what I deal with as well. And there's no potential, you know, structure to the show. I've got some notes here. But what I'm finding is that all of that stuff was great in the moment. But right now, what I'm finding is experiences over possessions. Experiences over possessions, right? So oftentimes it's not that. It's about that moment with your friend, right? When you think back on your life, what do you think about most? What you bought or the experiences that you had with your friends? The girls' night out, the guys' night out, the vacation with the family, the solo trip to the beach or the solo trip camping or whatever it might be, or the bungee jump or the jumping out of a plane or going deep sea diving or fishing with your buddy, whatever it might be. We look back on moments. And so I'm finding in my life that, as crazy as it sounds, I've always been a hard charger, and I've always been driven by a fear of scarcity, not having enough money, getting homeless again, you know, losing money. And I've lived my life in that state of perpetual fear somewhat, which has driven me. It drove me to get 5 promotions in 6 years or something like that when I was in my corporate job. It has driven me to become the best coach that I could possibly be, the best speaker I could possibly be, the best podcaster I could possibly be, husband and dad. Everything has driven me by fear. But now I'm thinking, like, what is it all for? Right? If the average life expectancy is 78 years old and I'm 56, that's 22 years. And you think about how fast the last 20 years have gone by. And 20 years ago, I was 36, which in some respects feels like a long time. But also I'm dealing with the awareness that I'm getting older. You know, I've already got a bad back. My sleep is starting to get shittier. And it's truth. As we get older, our things start to decline a little bit. Right. And so even though I'm in great physical shape, you know, I am, there's that fear about what's next. And quite honestly, you know, you guys talk about me being positive all the time. Lately, I'm not. Lately, I'm very scared and fearful. Like, what's going to happen? How am I going to die? And one of my biggest fears is getting cancer, because everybody in my family has died of cancer. And so I literally quit drinking a year ago. I barely drink anymore. I haven't had Jack Daniels in over a year and a half, which anybody knows me would be like, huh? Like, no way. So I'm taking my health very seriously because of that drive and that fear not to be experiencing these moments. And the bigger thing that I'm realizing is my why is changing. right? And we can have multiple whys in our life. And my why, if you follow me for any length of time, is to use my words and my actions to fight for what's right and what's fair, to risk for which that mattered, and to make the world a better place for who I am and what I do. And that's the eulogy I wrote in 2008. But now I'm really realizing, like, that's great. And I'm going to always continue to use my voice and my words and my actions to make this world a better place. I'm literally probably always going to do some form of coaching and speaking and writing books and making the world a better place. But there's a part of me that's on this journey to see what I can let go of and see what I can release of my ego and of essentially what has been my success pattern, my success, method of operation for most of my life. And so now it's like, what would life be like if I retired? What would I do? What will I do? Right. And I told my wife this recently. I said, we haven't done a great job of planning out our life because we're living every day and we're in the moments. But I'm like, we really got to think about what we're going to do when we're going to retire. Jackson's going to be 18 in 10 years. What's going to happen after that? She's 10 years younger than me. And so now we're starting to have those conversations, and I'm starting to think about life. And we're having those conversations like, hey, if I ever get to where I'm like, you have to physically take care of me, like put me in a home. I don't want you to go through it. I don't want Jackson to see that. If I ever get Alzheimer's or amnesia, like fucking let me go. I don't want you guys to experience that. So we're having those conversations, and that's good. Right. But I'm also worried because that identity, right? We identify as a coach. We identify as a mom. We identify as a husband. We identify as whatever it might be, an operations director, which is what I was. And there's some fear, but also what I'm trying to find in that is the inner peace of releasing and surrendering and realizing that life is somewhat of a bell curve, right? It doesn't have to be. And that's one of the lessons that I want you to get across in this thing tonight, is that life is a journey. And don't hang on to the identity of yourself as you were, because so oftentimes, I need to still be that person. There's seasons of life. What season are you in? Are you in your 20s and 30s? Are you in your 40s and 50s? Are you in your 60s and 70s? Are you in your 80s and 90s? Where might you be? And the other thing I'm realizing is, right, always going hard in the paint and doing this and doing that and doing this to one day retire. Why not retire now? Why not step back and enjoy more of the moments now? Like, I'm 56. I mean, I got plenty of life in me, but there's also this desire to have peace. And it's the natural evolution, I think, of what the journey that we're on is. And so I find it exciting, but I also find it scary because of where my mind goes and thinking about that time and thinking about, wow, what is it going to be like if somebody gives me that diagnosis? What is it going to be like when somebody says, you don't have much long to live? Or hang on, let me grab some of these comments. What do we got? We got Jock. We got L Patrick Dickerson in the house. What's up, dude? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, man. I told you guys it's going to be a special episode. We got Jock Brokus in the house. He goes, I share the same fears. Hey, brother. Good to see you, man. It's long overdue. I hope you're doing well. I hope you and your wife are reconnected and doing well. I know we've talked about this, and it's been very pervasive in my mind lately, to the point the other day I went down a rabbit hole and I had an anxiety attack sitting on my couch. I literally was, for some reason, I'm not in control of it. My brain just started going that direction. Somebody had said something, or I saw a TikTok video about life and how short it is. And I started thinking, I'm like, wow, am I going to live to be 78? Am I going to, what's going to happen? I'm at 56. Like one of the comedians just said recently, he goes, now we're at the age where we can drop dead. As he's 56 also, Bill Burr. And I'm like, fuck, right? My biological father died at 57. My wife's biological father died at 57. It's scary times. It's scary times. So thank you, John, for being here. I appreciate you. Or Jock, I know you as Jock. L Patrick says here, he goes, authenticity trumps most everything else. Please don't use that word. Please don't use that word, because I'm going to talk about that too. Robert's in the house. Robert's talking about it. Jacqueline says here, this April, I will be 68 and time goes by so fast, right? It really does. And one of the things that I do is I live through the experience of other people. So my neighbor is 73. And so I asked him, I heard this thing on one of the documentaries I was watching about longevity. I've been looking at longevity and epigenetics and stuff like that, and just understanding more how the body works and what I can do to better my health. Right. I'm not going to be a fucking saint about it. Let's just be honest about that. I mean, I really don't drink that much anymore. A couple of beers here and there. I've lost my taste for hard alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I exercise probably 5-6 days a week. I eat pretty good. I do my meditation. I'm positive. So there's a lot of things that are going for me, but it scares the shit out of me to think that possibly, something could come up. But also, I'm reminded of the fact that everything that has happened in our lives and everything that's happening in our lives is preparing us for what's next. And there are always going to be tests and challenges and peaks and valleys in our life, right? I've told you guys this. If you've never done it, please go watch The Hero's Journey on YouTube. It's called The Joseph Campbell Story. It's about 1 hour and 23 minutes. I might watch it again. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. I might watch it with my son, maybe. It's an excellent representation of our life and how we go through life from being born to dying, and how there's this hero's journey. And so there is a part of me that thinks maybe if that's what God, source, universe, whatever it is, puts in front of you, Chris, if that potentially could be your life, what are you going to do? Because I believe that when you have a situation or you have a fear, that it's best to look at what's the worst that can happen, and how can I reframe my perspective about it to be not sad, but to be somewhat inspired. I won't say necessarily grateful, but inspired and curious and adventurous to see how I can handle that problem too. And I say that because I've seen so many people who have been given a cancer diagnosis, and I've known people to say, you can diagnose me with it, but I don't have it. I'm happy to do the protocols that you want me to do in order to rid my body of whatever it is that you think you might have. In other words, not owning it, not accepting it. I was just helping a coaching client with this the other day. Like, oh, I'm feeling mad, or I'm feeling tired, or I'm feeling angry. Or no, I am. They were saying, I am tired, and I am angry, and I'm so this, and I'm so this. And I'm like, do you believe what it is that you're saying? Right? And what is it that you're doing in order to fix what it is that you're saying? Because so oftentimes we just bitch about it, but we don't actually include the solutions in it. And so the opportunity for us to be co-creative in our future is pretty paramount, right? If you're just waiting and hoping and wishing and all that good stuff that something's going to happen or something's going to change, chances are something might change to the negative. And so I'm a firm believer in this type of thinking. If I have it, I won't need it. But if I don't have it, God, source, universe, or somebody is going to give me a lesson to teach me that I might need that. Right. And so I think about in terms of, if I was sitting in a doctor's office and they looked over at me and said, you have cirrhosis of the liver, you have liver cancer, you have kidney failure, you have lymphoma, whatever it is, when I was drinking a lot, then I would ask myself, is that diagnosis, is that journey worth what it is that I'm doing to my body? And so that was one of the pivotal moments where I sat there and I thought, okay, I'm going to quit drinking for longer than I've done before. And when I've done 2 months, 3 months, I think the most I've ever done is 3 or 4 months. But in 2023 to 2024, in October, I went a year without drinking. And the clarity and the health and the sense of pride to know that I'm reversing the damage that potentially could lead me to that doctor's office inspired me. And what it did was also, it gave me peace. It gave me peace to know that I'm doing whatever I can to avoid that conversation. And so when we think in terms of that, now if I'm looking at things like what's the worst that can happen, the worst that can happen is I can go in and they could say you have stage 4 cancer and you're going to die in 2 months or a month, right? That's the worst, fucking worst. I mean, aside from just dropping dead and not saying goodbye, but there's part of me that sits there and wonders, okay, selfishly for me, I'd rather have that and then go through a long debilitating illness. But then I thought, well, I'd rather go through the illness to be able to say goodbye to everybody and to wrap up my business. But then I thought, I should start wrapping up my business now so that that's not a potential fear or guilt when it is my time to pass. I hope I'm making sense, because I'm definitely going raw and unscripted. I've got some notes, like I said before. But the thing is, I'm actually, hang on. Let me just check out some of these other comments. I meant to get the rest of the comments. Sorry. So yeah. So this April, well, actually it's April. So happy early birthday, Jacqueline, 68. Awesome. Mark Rodriguez, what's up, dude? He says, dude, how have you been? I've been awesome. Thank you so much. I'm just sharing a little bit of what's going on in my life right now. So thank you for joining. It's been a minute since I've seen you here. L. Patrick says, less is more. Retirement is a fallacy. Yeah, I'm definitely not retiring, but it's like, do I have to go hard in the pain every day? Do I have to do something that moves the podcast? Do I have to do something that gets more clients? I don't. I really don't. I mean, I've got more books in me. I've got my book coming out later this year, which John is represented here. John's publishing it through Paranormal Publishing Books. A Different Army is going to be doing for motivational books. Jock says here also, the journey never ends from this world or in the next. No. And I really think that, and I really believe that. But if I allow the thinking to be pervasive, then it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I really truly believe that there's an afterlife and there's spirit, and I'll still be with my family somehow. But like, to think that I'm not going to be here ever again, or to think that I'm not going to be with my family, that's frightening. That's frightening. But we need to think about those things in order to have the leverage, in order to change what it is that we're doing in the current moment. And I believe that's more important as you get older, especially with your health. And especially, do I have unresolved issues with somebody? Is it worth me carrying that to the grave? And I see so many people where people die and they say, Chris, you know what? I wish I would have made amends with that person before they died. I wish I would have told them I apologized. I wish I would have told them it wasn't their fault. But so oftentimes we keep that grudge, we keep that hostility, again, thinking one day we're going to change it. But what I'm trying to inspire you to do is, I say all the time, live in the moment. Like, be excited for the moment, be present in the moment, but also look ahead and think about the things that you can say now. My internet must be doing something. If you say those things now and you do those things now, perhaps that releases some of that sense of identity. We have to protect ourselves, or we're afraid to be vulnerable, or we're afraid to go address a problem. How about we just start doing that naturally in our lives, right? Instead of hiding and running through our ego and through our identity in our job, in our career. I'm this, I'm that, head down, badge of honor, getting 3 hours sleep and all that. I'm grinding it. What about if we just stop doing that? We still hustle, but the sense is that we close open loopholes, we heal our brain, we heal our spirit, we heal our body. And then I believe that we're more grounded and centered to be more effective in the things that are most important to us in our life. Follow me? I hope you guys are. Let me get some other comments. Jacqueline says here, fear, face everything and run with it. Yeah. Face everything and rise. I think that's fear. Face everything and rise, right? What is fear? Fear is not anything different than excitement. You're waiting for a roller coaster. You're either afraid or you're excited. Boom. It's all about your perspective of what it is that you're doing. Mark Rodriguez, continue serving. Fuck yeah, man. I'm always going to continue to serve. My goal is to mend this world, because as part of my other things, I'll go into this for a second. John says here, or Jock says, awareness minus acceptance, awareness, acceptance, and choice. Right? Yeah. Mine are awareness, acceptance, and action. AAA. So you got ACC, you got accessory, I got AAA. But yeah, it really is. It's about being aware. It's accepting, which I find the 5 most powerful words in the dictionary lately. It is what it is. Right? It is what it is. I'm in debt. It is what it is. I have relationship problems. It is what it is. I'm a chronic smoker. It is what it is. I'm overweight. It is what it is. But what is it that I'm going to do with that? Right? I hear so many people talk about things that they're frustrated with, but I'm asking them what they're doing. Have you spoken to that person that's frustrating you? No. Why? I'm afraid of what? Is it going to get worse? Like, when you think about the things that you're afraid of, what are you really afraid of? I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of looking like an idiot. Fuck all that. Like, be excited about the person you're going to be on the other side of that tough challenge. Be excited about not carrying all these things around with you, right? You're carrying a weight of past beliefs and current fears and future fears. You're carrying all that stuff around you. The anxiety, right? The stress, the overwhelm, and what that causes us is it causes us to detach from ourselves. It causes us to detach from those we love the most. And so what I'm finding as I settle into this new season of life, if you will, I'm finding as I explore these aspects of my life and I journal and I'm making notes and I'm seeing what I can release, I'm finding that when I go downstairs and I see my son smile, fuck, that's so cool. Like, how many more times do I get to see my son smile? How excited am I to see my son's smile change from now until when he's 18? How excited am I to be with my son at 21 years old, taking him to a bar and buying him a drink? I don't know how old I'll be, but I'll be, it might be in my 70s. I think I figured out one time I'll be 72 or something like that. But again, here's the other thing about that. Well, hang on. I get all over the place. L. Patrick says here, YouTube channel, Diary of a CEO. Yes, I love that one. I watch them all the time. He says, one of the most disruptive current productions I have discovered, right? Joseph Campbell is a divine gift beyond our comprehension. Check out The Fourth Turning. I'm reading this for you guys on the podcast. Check out The Fourth Turning, Neil Howe. I'm thriving on outer edges of the bell curves. Clinically speaking, it requires a strict protocol of unconventional practices. I will check that out. Thank you very much. I love Diary of CEO. Actually, you know what's funny? Where is it? Poppycock. So here's something. There you go. L. Patrick, right there. I ordered the cards. If you watch the show, you know he's got the cards. These are the question cards. I paid $65 for this to be shipped overseas, but these are the questions that the guest at the end of the show leaves for the next guest. I love questions. So there's some synergies for you, if you will. Jock Brokus says here, he goes, with the amount of loss I have experienced, and he's had some this year, that's for sure. One thing I realize is you have to live for the moment and enjoy the miracle of life you have been given. Nothing is worth disrupting the peace or disturbing the peace, right? There's a few things worth disturbing the peace, and we might get into that. Talking about current events, but yeah, no, thank you. And I'm glad you've had that realization, because I know you're like me, Jock, in the fact that we know, and like we're talking about with the hero's journey, and I was talking with somebody today, actually, all coalescing, is that we know something's going to be hard and we know something's going to be uncomfortable. We know all that. But when you think about your life and the uncomfortable and the hard things you've done in the past, on the other side of those, did you not become stronger? Did you not have a different perspective? Did you not grow? Did you not potentially find ways of what not to do in the future? Did you possibly find opportunities to be able to share your experiences with other people to help them either go through that or avoid that? So there's a lot of blessings in the challenges of life, because we don't learn anything when life is easy. We don't learn anything when we're on cruise control. And that's a part of my life that I've been exploring, because there's part of me that says I want to take it easy, but then there's that part of me that says, okay, you still need to hustle, right? Let me see. So thank you for sharing that, Jock. Jacqueline says here, how do we quit running on empty? Okay, that's a good question, Jacqueline. Number one, actually, let's take what Jock said, awareness. Right? So I'm aware that I'm running on empty. Okay. Acceptance, or I'll use mine. Acceptance. I accept that here right now, I don't have a lot of energy. I'm not feeling so very good. Right? Then the third A is action. What am I going to do differently starting right now, potentially, or starting tomorrow, that by which doing so compounded daily can give me 10% energy back, 20% energy back. We're not going to go back to feeling like we did when in our 30s. That's one thing that I challenge myself with, is like, I don't feel like fucking very good today or whatever, but I'm 56 years old. I have pushed my body a lot, physically, mentally, spiritually, over these years, since I was a little kid, since I was in utero, probably. Right? So what is it that I can do? Am I drinking my water? Right? Half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should drink 100 ounces of water every single day. Your body is 80% water. If you're not drinking water, you're foolish. You're absolutely foolish. People who don't drink water and feel like shit blow my mind. Or, oh, I can't focus. I can't concentrate. I'm not sleeping so good. My skin looks like shit. It's because you're not drinking enough water. Drinking your water. Getting your sleep. Like, don't eat a couple hours before you go to sleep because you need deep sleep. I track my sleep. If you don't get deep sleep and you continually don't get deep sleep, you're sleep deprived. And so when you're sleep deprived, you feel like shit. So then you need caffeine. And so then you're living on caffeine and then you can't go to sleep. So really, when we're looking at things in our life, how do I break the pattern of what it is that I have done to get me to this spot? And I would say, Jacqueline, is to rate your running on empty. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm running on empty is a 7 or an 8. Okay, what can I do in the next couple of weeks to maybe bring it down to a 6? What can I do? Can I go out and get some fresh air? Can I do some mild chair exercises, right? We don't have to go to a gym. We don't have to go outside. There's actually indoor exercises, body resistance, even for older people, even for people who have disabilities. Here's the thing, guys. More now than ever, the personal computer that you have in your pocket or in your hand or that you're watching or listening to this on has the answers. What kind of exercises can I do if I've been lazy, if I haven't been moving? What kind of exercises can I do if I have a bad back? What kind of exercises can I do if both my knees are shot? What kind of exercises can I do if I can't turn my neck? The answers are there. It's just a willingness of what we're willing to commit, what we're willing to sacrifice. Oh, I can't give up my bread. I can't give up my sweets. I can't give up my alcohol. I can't give up keep telling yourself you can't and you won't. Period. End of story. Right? So if you're running on empty, what is it that I can do? And part of that is what I'm talking about, is relieving some of that stress. Maybe if somebody is dead, then you write a letter to them and you get it out. Handwrite a fucking letter, right? Back in the old days, we handwrote letters. I'm always telling you guys, I keep my pen. My pen. I have a really nice pen that I dig. I have a nice pen. I have actually, truth be told, since we're being honest, I have 3 pens. I have a blue pen, which is really nice. I like to write. I have a red pen in case I need to cross things out. I have a pencil because I like to write in pencil. And if I need anything, I have a highlighter right here within arm's reach. So there you have it. So maybe write a note. I tend to write things. I write things down. I have all the computer things in the world, but I write things down. How am I feeling? What are my emotions right now? Let me get them out on paper. Okay, why am I feeling that? Why am I feeling scared? Oh, because maybe I'm not doing the things that I need to be doing. Okay, what is it what is one thing I need to do that if I do it, will relieve a little bit of that stress? Because all of us are holding things inside, and it's not perfect and it's not easy, but it really is about what we focus on and who we surround ourselves with. I got people in the world right now coming to me about how great Trump is, and da 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 da. And I got people fucking freaking out and scared. Really, really scared. Like, no bullshit scared. And people are telling, oh, they're fucking stupid for being scared. Don't tell people they're stupid for being scared. We all have different experiences. Although we are more the same than we are different, we need to have compassion and understanding for one another. It's a freaky time right now. Let me get some of the rest of your comments. I appreciate you guys commenting and being so verbose. Nicole Young says, hey, what's up? I'm late to the party. Go back and check it out in the beginning. Of course, my dear, we're talking about vulnerability. I'm sharing about what's going on in my mind and how I kind of think things out. El Patrick says, here tonight, watching my oldest daughter performing folk bluegrass at 2-hour open mic jam session in downtown Greenville, South Carolina was quite cathartic. Amen, man. Amen. Right? Let's create more of those moments. I told my wife, we've never really done it, but all of us probably talk about a bucket list. But how many Raise your hands. How many of you actually have a written bucket list? Right? I'm at the age now. I told my wife literally the other night, I have a little book that I journal on the couch. Like I write feelings down and I just journal stuff like that, or ideas or whatnot. And I said, let's start making a bucket list and let's start actively deciding, okay, when are we going to do that bucket list? So one of my bucket lists is to travel across the United States. So, right, let's make a plan for that. Okay, let's make a plan in the next 10 years before Jackson's 18 that we're going to visit all 48 states. Okay, if there's 48 states and there's 10 years, then we divide that. Okay, what states are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Are we going to make it part of national monuments? Are we going to make it, a music road trip? We talked about before, going to the Nashville and Grand Ole Opry and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Elvis Presley's house, all that stuff. Right? Let's have a bucket list and let's be excited, right? I believe this. I believe one of the components to living a really, truly kick-ass life is having something on your calendar that you're looking forward to. That isn't hard. Even if it's a night out, it's a date night with your spouse. It's a family night out at the miniature golf park. It doesn't have to be something that's super expensive. A drive-in movie, if you have them in your area, a trip to the beach, a day at the beach, a bonfire at the beach with close family and friends, maybe telling stories and maybe having what I used to call a living memorial. And it was something that I tried with my friends and my family. It didn't work, but I'm like, you know what? If you died, I would fly to Chicago tomorrow to be at your funeral. But right now I'm saying I can't afford, I'm paraphrasing, but right now I'm saying I can't afford to go to Chicago. But we do those things when somebody dies. So how about we do those things while we're alive? And I still am very passionate about that. Maybe that's something that I'll do now is encourage people to have those celebrations, right? It's sad that we find out and we gather as a collective community when somebody passes away and tell them how fucking awesome they were, but we never tell them to their face while they're alive. Or maybe we do, right? I'm just making a generalization, but you know what I mean? How great would it be for me? Let's just put me in the spotlight for a second. If a ton of people from all over the United States, all over the world, let's be real big picture. How about if people from all over the world, my buddy John from Australia flew in, right? All the different people that I know from all around the world, from the Philippines and from England and from Scotland and all the different people I know, all flew in and we had a 3-day celebration. And we talked about all the fucking cool things Chris did. It's all about me. How much different, but I'm a pretty positive guy. How much do you think my bucket would be filled if I had that experience while I'm alive? Right? So maybe that's another suggestion you take with you in this conversation tonight is something that you can do with your family, right? Are your parents still alive? Throw them a fucking celebration, right? You don't have to wait till their 50th anniversary, their 60th anniversary. It's their fucking 37th anniversary. Throw a blockbuster presentation, have a great time, have memories, spend the money. Right? Or if they pass away, would you regret it later? And I'm seeing a lot of my friends. One of the biggest things I'm helping people through is sick parents, sick friends and family, fear of death, getting older. I'm helping all sorts of people out. So it's causing me to think, of course, about my shit too. Jacqueline Rose says here, Christopher, my sister was a heavy smoker. She died, stage 4 liver cancer. You want to quit smoking? My sister didn't get to see her grandson born a month later. Yeah, that's tough. I quit smoking when I was in my early 20s. I smoked for, I don't know, it was actually nearly 10 years. It was 13 to 23. I smoked a lot, fucking from 16 to 23. Let me tell you that. But I'm glad I quit. Yep. My grandfather died of lung cancer. This is when I quit. Tell you a story. My grandfather died of lung cancer 10 or 15 years after he quit smoking. The day after he died, I saw him a couple of days before he died, and I couldn't believe how terrible he looked. I'd never seen him like that. He was a big, tall, powerful dude, but he was in a hospital bed and withered away. It was really sad. Could barely breathe, could barely talk. It was horrible. When I found out on the phone, my mom called me and told me he passed away. I threw my cigarettes away. I did smoke off and on, social smoking in my 30s, but that doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Everybody's saying hi to one another. Jock says here, Greenville, I am 40 minutes from you. Cool beans. L. Patrick says, why empowers how? 1,000%. I tell people all the time, when you have a big enough why, you have a big enough how. And so now for me, I kind of alluded to this earlier. For me, like my why is still impacting the world and making the world a better place and a different place. I do that every single day. I wake up and set that intention, and I go to bed every night and I say out loud what I'm proud and what I'm thankful for and the impact that I had. Because I believe when we do that, we get excited, right? We get excited. But now my why, now my why, and this is kind of funny, but when I really started thinking about it, because I heard this thing on TikTok or somebody sent me the video, and it was really kind of sad, really kind of depressing. Like if you died tomorrow, everybody would be, oh, Long story short, people would come out for the funeral. People would go home. They would think about me. They would think about me on special occasions where they saw pictures, but pretty much their life would go on. And even for my family, like the first couple of weeks would be devastating. The first couple of months would be devastating. 6 months, a year, they might not think about me every single day. Then they're not going to think about me for a couple of days. And then of course, you're always going to think about your loved ones on special occasions or when you would want to talk to them, things like that. But life goes on. And so I was thinking, like, when I dig really far down, I'm not going to be worried about, you guys going, well, fucking Christopher would have told me this. I mean, I like that. But the big thing now, which is inspiring me and exciting me to be present, is I want my son, after I'm dead, to always say, well, my dad said, or what my dad thought. Like, I want to be that inspiration for him, because I've seen a lot of guys my age just like, oh man, my dad. And I thought about, I'm like, that's fucking successful. That's cool to leave that legacy. And that little guy who's 8 years old now, that for the rest of his life, I just pour experiences and I listen and I'm attentive and I'm present, so that so much when he's in his 30s and he's in his 40s and his 50s and his 60s and his 70s, right? When my son's in his 70s, I still want him to go, my dad. So that is, I'm a pretty present father and I'm pretty listening and all that other stuff, but I get short and I get tired and I want to fucking lay down or whatever it might be. But now it's like, when I think in terms of being really present in the moment and thinking, man, if I wasn't here tomorrow, how would I leave this moment right now? And I don't want to think about it all the time, but there is peace in knowing that you're being intentionally present with the idea that maybe you don't get tomorrow. God forbid. I mean, some accidents, shit happens all the time, and you don't get to say goodbye, and you don't get to leave that lasting impression. So these are just things that are going on in my brain. I'm just trying to help you guys out and share some of this stuff, because I go through it too. Right? I don't have all the answers, but I'm constantly thirsty. I'm constantly thirsty of who I get to be tomorrow and the day after, and the day after, and the day after. And I think back, and I think to the people that knew me in my 40s, which is not that long ago. And I think that people knew me in my 30s or people that knew me a couple of years ago, and the amount that I've changed just in that time. Right? The guy I used to be, fucking party animal, smart ass, I mean, all sort boisterous, and I'm still that person, but now I'm finding peace in the quiet, and I'm just on this journey. It's really cool. So I'm just sharing that with you guys, because that's what we do here on the Raw Unscripted show. Nicole says, life is one big science experiment. Some things work, and other things were lessons. I've had so many lessons, and now I know I'm not done yet. Let's embody the gift of life. We get to unwrap it however we want. Yeah, we get to wrap it however we want. I mean, we don't get to pick what we unwrap, right? But in your terms, Nicole, thank you for sharing that. We don't know what we get to unwrap, but we get to unwrap it. And when I think about unwrapping, I think about the experience of either reacting to something or responding to something, and deciding again in that moment, okay, it is what it is. Running away from it, ignoring it, hiding it, staying in bed, which I have done. There have been some mornings in the last couple of months where I have not wanted to get out of bed. I have not wanted to wake up. I have not wanted to engage my brain. And that's the truth. And that's okay. Some days are like that. I would be surprised if anybody realistically expected me to be always so positive. And generally, yes, I am. Right. But what I'm talking about are the moments in between. The moments I'm sitting on the couch watching a podcast and they're talking about life being shorter. They're sharing an experience of somebody, who got a cancer diagnosis that was super healthy. And all of a sudden your brain starts thinking, oh my God, right? Let me grab some more of these comments. I appreciate you guys so much showing up to the conversation. This is definitely something I wanted to do a little bit differently. Thank you, Jock, for showing up. I know you're keen on helping me grow the podcast, and so I did give you those props. I don't know if you heard them earlier. So thank you. Jock says, or L. Patrick is asking Jock, where are you located? We should connect. Jock is in Hendersonville. Okay, you guys have that little conversation right there. Nicole says here, she's asking me, what's your definition of empty? That's a great point. And that's actually a great point to make a point out of, is that we should define the words and the language that we use. And so what I do with my coaching clients oftentimes is they'll say, oh, this is hard. And I'm like, I do this with my son too. I'm like, okay, explain to me hard. What's hard? And oftentimes whatever it is that we're explaining the definition of isn't as bad as our initial projection of what it is that we said. Oh, it's going to be hard. Oh, it's going to be, okay. So tell me about that. And more times than not, probably 80-90% of the times when the person has to explain it and they explain it back out loud, as they're saying it, they're realizing that it's not that bad or it's not that much, that they built it up in their brain and they've used that excuse. Oh my God, it's going to be so hard. But okay. What's the first thing you need to do? Okay, well, I would need to do this. Okay, what do you think would be the last thing you need to do? Well, I guess before getting that, I would do this. I'm like, okay, so what's really in between? Well, I guess I'd only have to do this, this, and that. All right, cool. What is it that you're willing to do starting tomorrow? And if people stick to that, usually in a week, I hear back from them, whether it's a coaching client or somebody I'm just helping, they'll come back to me like, oh my God, Chris, I did it and it wasn't that bad. And here's the thing I've been hearing a lot lately is the phrase, I wish I would have done it sooner. I wish I would have had that conversation with my wife sooner. I wish I would have had that conversation with my customer sooner. I wish I would have taken my health better sooner. I wish I would have started eating vegetables sooner. I wish I would have quit taking all those medications I was taking because I was being lazy sooner. I wish I would have had my blood checked sooner. I wish I would have had a vitamin deficiency test sooner. I wish I would have gone outside and got sunshine every single day sooner. I wish I wouldn't have lived in the idea of who I thought I was supposed to be sooner. Right? Regrets suck, guys. Regrets suck. 5 Regrets of the Dying. That was a powerful fucking book for me. You want to talk about jarring? Jarring. Read a hospice nurse who's sitting next to people who are dying. Tell her their regrets and the stories. It's fucking hard. But you know what? Wakes you fucking up. So what's my definition of empty? Got to get back to you, Nicole. Sorry. I guess it depends on what it is that we're talking about. I think empty was without anything. And I don't think we're ever like that. So when we say that I'm feeling empty, the initial response in my brain is, okay, what am I grateful for? I'm fucking grateful for the ceiling fan. I'm grateful for technology for us to be able to connect. I just did this with somebody yesterday. I said, when you're in a moment where you're spinning out of control or you're going down a rabbit hole, I said, find 10 things to be grateful for in front of you. And I was standing out in front of my son's school and she goes, find me 10 things right now. And the craziest thing, I'm thankful for there's a fence around the school that protects my kids or protects the kids. I'm thankful for the school that's only so far away from me. I'm thankful for the trees that are blowing in the wind right now. I'm thankful for the fact that I hear the laughter of kids all around me. And I just kept going and kept going and kept going. I looked over at her. She's like, I'm like, yeah, if you can't find 10 things in front of you to be grateful for, right? It's about breaking that pattern. It's about exploring the pattern, but also breaking that and getting yourself back to zero to sit there and say, okay, is this a good use of my time? Right? Think about that too. Is this a good use of my time? So the definition of empty is what you make it to be, but I don't think I've ever said that to myself, that I feel empty or I'm empty right now. There may be moments of emptiness, like you're exhausted and you just don't know what to say. You don't know what to do in that particular moment, but then you take action. Then you do something most often. Nicole also says here, write a letter to your future self, a congratulations card. Jesus Christ, I gotta put my fucking glasses on. Normally I can fake it. Write a letter to your future self, congratulations card to your future self. Laura St. John teaches about this. Yes, I've done that many times. I've done positive future letter to yourself, and also your future self letter to yourself right now that's not so positive. Like have a conversation with yourself saying, hey man, you're sitting in a doctor's office right now and you just got the fucking call that you've been drinking too much, shit like that. Robert says verbose. I'm holding back, been working on the excessive context. Context. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate you. You're always good, man. You're always good. Just be you. Nicole says here, I love vulnerability. Only way to roll real and raw. You know me. I hope you guys are getting value out of this. It's kind of weird for me to be this like authentic and transparent. It doesn't bother me. We've all got shit, right? We've all got shit. There's nobody out there who doesn't have shit. L. Patrick says here, 4 deep breaths, and then ask yourself, body, mind, and soul and spirit, what is here now? And write it down. Journal. There is no right or wrong. Yeah, 100%. I dig what you're saying. I say the same thing. Yeah, I do 4-4 breathing, box breathing. So you do 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. You just do that 4 times and your physiology will change, right? My son made me do my fucking breathing exercises one time when I was stressed out in traffic. It's like, Dad, you need to do your breathing exercises. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Robert says, I've been doing breath work for a while now. Love it. Yeah. I've been doing, I haven't been as into it as I was a couple of years ago, where I did breath work classes and I did a 6-month coaching or a 6-week coaching thing. Nicole says here, for me, when I get out of my adult brain and be more childlike, free spirit, stop thinking so much and just live life. Yeah, it is. I have a coloring book. I have an adult coloring book. It's got swear words in it. So I like to sit down and color, right? Be adventurous, be curious. That's what we were when we were kids until the adults fucked it out of us. Nicole says, maybe you're called to mentor friends of your sons. Possibly. I am going to be doing more speaking at schools again and helping people out. I've been redefining what it is that I'm doing and what I'm going to do. So I definitely want to focus on the youth a lot more. Jacqueline says, I tell you, people will come into your funeral, but won't come much when you are alive. That is so wrong. And that's why I'm trying to change that. So we can all change that in our world. I challenge each and every one of you to go to your family, right? To your family first and say, hey, let's do a living memorial each year. I mean, if you got 10 people in your family, let's do 2 people each year for the next 5 years. Let's do, whatever it might be. Let's start having family reunions. Let's start making it happen, because if somebody passes away or somebody gets sick, we do that. We make the travel. We make the time. We make the effort. So let's do it while we're alive, and let's show people that we care about them, right? I'll tell you a sad story. My wife befriended a 70-something-year-old lady at her gym. They have a small workout gym, because she felt lonely. Her family doesn't call on her and check on her. And so my wife said, here, take down my number. Put my number in your phone. If you need anything, you call me, right? That's the beautiful thing we can do for humanity. So we can help one another out. If you know somebody who's lonely, go take them a meal. Go take them out to lunch. Like, hey, say, let's go out to lunch once a month. Like, what is that? Right? You make a big difference in somebody else's life. Jock says here, accept death and you will finally live. I accept it, dude. And I get what you're saying. And I think that's one of the other things too, that I've been curious about. Let's use that word, is that I know the reality. I know the logic. I know that we all die. I know it all happens. I know we go to a better place. I know we're reunited with our family. But the paralyzing thought of thinking about that moment, that's what gets me. And I believe that's just a period or phase that I'm going through right now. And then you kind of process it and you go, okay, cool. I'm good with that. Now I can truly, truly live. But I think it's good for us to kind of question and realize that we're graduating to the next season of life, and not try to stay in that other season and not try to be identified by that. Right. Nicole says we are all called to be a ripple. Yes. And I almost want to say we're all called to be a nipple. Don't get me started about that. L. Patrick talks about butterfly effect. Absolutely. If you guys have never done it, talking about butterflies, go on Amazon and order a bucket of caterpillars. And it's cool. They come as little embryos or little shit pellets, and then they turn into caterpillars and they turn into butterflies and you release them. It's a really cool experience. I want to do that again. My kid didn't really get into it, but I've done it twice and I love it. I actually cried the last time because one of the butterflies' wings wouldn't go and fucking felt super bad, but I finally got him to fly. So I felt great. Nicole says here, yes, I agree. I used to feel that way. Then God connected me to something and it helps me get on the other side of the bridge. Great, sister. Keep sharing that. I'm proud of you. El Patrick says here, our habits reveal our truths. Yes. Sometimes we need to change our habits in order to change our truths. Darlene Eaton says, hey y'all, what's going on? Thank you, Darlene, for showing up. Appreciate you. I would definitely encourage you to go back and check out the beginning of the podcast. Lot of hidden gems in here, but also just me sharing what's going on in my life to kind of let you guys know we're in this together. And I'm just thirsty every single week about what it is that I can learn and understand and share with you guys. Right? We show up here every 7 days. We take 3 things from the conversation. We apply them in our life. You can apply 3 things in 7 days, can't you? Then you come back here and you build 3 more things and 3 more things. And before you know it, like the show's been on for fucking 6 years, you could easily take 20 to 30 shows, apply those 3 principles. That's 60 things in your life. How much different can your life be if you just take it moment to moment and you be essentially focused on what it is that you're doing it for? You're passionate about it. You're excited about it, but you might have to let people go. You might have to do new things. You might have to sacrifice. You might have to compromise. You might have to fucking sweat and bleed and cry. But on the other side of that, right? 3 months. How much more energy can you have in 3 months, Jacqueline, if you sat there and said, you know what, I'm just going to push myself a little bit more every single day, right? Maybe it's just this. Maybe it's, okay, I'm doing that with my shoulder. It's you do it fucking 30 times. I'm sure my shoulder would be better. Okay, now I'm doing this. Now I'm doing this. Okay, now I'm doing this. Okay, now tomorrow I'm going to do a bag of cat litter. I don't know. Just keep pushing yourself. Okay, I want to get some more of these comments, and then I'm going to cut out the podcast because I don't want to take up all your guys' time. Darlene says, I need a meal. Fat girl loves some food. Don't even get me started. Yes, have a meal. Jacqueline says, I plan on living till I am 2000 to my mind says, think it over. I plan on living till I am 2002. My mind says, think it over. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but yeah. I mean, this is the other thing I was going to say. Let me grab this other comment. Darlene says, I hadn't heard of that, Patrick. I need to check it out. Love butterflies. Yeah. No, it is true. Shit, I was going to say something. No, I just forgot what it was I was going to say. First of all, please, if you're digging this, share it out with some comments and say, hey man, I was just listening to this cat. He's a motivational guy. He's super charged up, but he too has experiences. And again, the thing that I want to get across to you is no matter what your situation is, right? There's always something we can do, but maybe there's something we can let go. Maybe there's something we can surrender. And I encourage you to find ways in your life to have less things to worry about, because that's what I'm doing. And I'm sitting there and I'm diagnosing it. I'm dissecting it. I'm accepting it. And I'm being excited about it. Right? Because I thought about this the other day with medical technology and everything else. What if I live to be 120? Let's just go with that. 120, right? Some people are saying 140, 150. A lot of people live older, blue zones and stuff like that. I've been researching that. But what if I live to 120? 56 to 120. That's a whole nother fucking lifetime. With everything that I know, with medical technologies, pretty fucking cool. Technology is changing at an exponential rate, which is another thing I'm afraid of. This is the other thing I was going to tell you guys. It's not just even my life, right? When you think about what's going on in the world today, and I'm not going to get into the politics, but what's going on in the world today, climate situations, political situations, uncertainties, shifts, right? We got artificial intelligence, which is frightening. I just watched a TEDx talk last night and I usually avoid some of this stuff about, it showed a robot. The robot came out on the TEDx stage and started the TEDx talk. It walked, didn't stumble. It walked perfectly organized, came out and started the TED talk talking about how we're going to have robots in our houses and this and that, and this and that, and this and that. So much is going to be changing exponentially as our life continues from this point forward at an alarming rate. And so it's up to us to get that core within us stronger, more aligned, freer, and to accept and understand that these things are going to come and these things are going to change. Think about it for our ancestors, right? The microwave showed up, the VCR showed up, cell phone showed up. Oh my God, the internet showed up. Oh my God. Things show up in our life and we get accommodated. We get used to the new normal. But for me, honestly, there is a huge part of me that's really scared for what my son's going to experience in his life. And so that inspires me now to do more than ever for our youth. So less of my focus is going to be on speaking and adults are good and all that good stuff. But now I want to get back into talking to the kids, like junior high and high school, college kids, and trying my best to arm them with the ability to do the work in their mind, perhaps plant seeds for when things change so they can handle it as well. But more so, just being that for my son and realizing now that he's getting older, I need to take more responsibility on helping him become that man that he's going to become. And that's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take pressure from me on him to make him that better person, right? So much to talk about, so much to do, right? So there you have it. There are some thoughts and some ideas. Again, like I said at the top of the show, info@noexcusescoach.com or anywhere on social media. Send me what it is that you want me to talk about, what topics you want me to talk about. If there's somebody you've heard on another podcast, if you would make an introduction or let me know who that person is. I'm still having people on the show, but there's just a lot more of me and you. So I can help you guys and help me and help all of us make this world a more kick-ass place so that our kids, when they do inherit it, they inherit a pretty beautiful place, right? So sometimes, and I'm having this conversation with myself, as much as I don't like to be involved in news and politics, sometimes when things are happening in our world, we have to stand up and we have to say something. So that's kind of where I'm at now, is deciding what that is and what I'm worth compromising with my mental health to step down that rabbit hole. And also to accept a lot of things are what they are. And no matter what I do is really not going to change it. I want to feel involved. I want to feel part of the solution. But the most I can do is connect with people every single day in my world through technology and help you guys just see life a little bit differently. And maybe those seeds spread to other people and to other people and to other people. And I still have this belief. That we can change the world, you and I together, pretty fucking quickly. And I think we might be seeing that. So everything that we might be thinking is bad and terrible and chaotic and all that stuff, if ultimately on the other side, like I've said so many times in this show, maybe on the other side of this is so much freedom and prosperity and equanimity and equality. And maybe this is the shit show we have to go through in order to get to that point in our lives where things don't have to be so negative and so uncertain and speculative and worrisome, maybe that would be fucking kind of cool. And Jacqueline says the Waltons, good night, John boy. Yes, Little House on the Prairie. All right, guys. So coming up, we have some guests. I just had a great guy on today that's going to be a guest next week. So yeah, tune in next week. We have a guest back. I haven't had a guest in a while. Michael Faber. You're going to dig him. He's a lot like me. So we're going to have a great, straightforward conversation. Please share this episode out. Please make sure you're telling people about the podcast, even if it's just one person, right? Can you tell one person to tell one person to tell one person? Check out the Raw Unscripted Podcast. Check out the TikTok. Check out the YouTube. Support me, guys. I love and appreciate you guys. I realize I've gone a little bit over today. I love each and every one of you, and I mean that. There is nothing more in the world that I would love to be able to have a big seminar and see all the people that I've impacted over technology over the last 6 years or 10 years or 20 years, whatever it might be. Get everybody in a room and have a big fucking kick-ass seminar. What do you think about that? That would be pretty cool. All right. So with that, I'm going to go eat some food, enjoy my family. I feel accomplished. I feel like I've shared and got some stuff off my chest. Hopefully you feel a little bit more connected to me. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I appreciate you. I'm glad you loved the show tonight. Let's see. Nicole's asking me, did you connect with Scott St. John or Vernon Dub Davis? Yes, I did. I connected with Vernon. We missed each other, but I don't know about Scott St. John. I can't remember what you were talking about him. So send me a private message and let me know what that was about. I think it might have been the Men's Mental Health Roundtable. Jock, I'm going to be talking with you soon to get you on for the Men's Mental Health Roundtable. I'm thinking about doing a 3-part series. So I've got quite a few people that were recommended to me. So I'm thinking about doing a 3-part series. So hit me in the comments, hit me in the social media, hit me at info@noexcusescoach.com. Let me know what you would love to see in that 3-part series about men's mental health, and we'll make it happen. I love you guys. Go out there, be beautiful, be unstoppable, and of course, kick ass. No excuses. Cheers.